Pietro, once the world's most feared assassin, is betrayed by his employers and nearly killed, but mysteriously wakes up in a young 20-year-old body with all his skills intact. Determined to reclaim his stolen fortune and destroy the Glory Club crime syndicate, he starts by defeating Octopus, a deadly jiu-jitsu master, and goes undercover. Pietro infiltrates the Glory Club's killer training high school under the name Kim Sung-gu, outsmarting bullies, impressing instructors, and avoiding suspicion while planning to dismantle the syndicate from the inside. Meanwhile, the Glory Club places a massive bounty on his head, setting off a global manhunt. Pietro's war of revenge has only just begun. Pietro manages to infiltrate Glory by becoming one of their assassin students. A major stakeholder's son has been kidnapped. Pietro and his mates have been given the mission of rescuing the son and killing anyone involved with the kidnapping. Pietro knew from the moment the teacher announced it that volunteering for the chairman's mission was no simple favor. Anyone who stepped forward would be recognized and tested as a true killer, endorsed by the chairman himself. There was a point of no return. Yet without hesitation, Pietro raised his hand. Lee Yuna raised hers too, her eyes steady with determination. The Daiko brothers, Hyung and Jae, followed suit, as if daring anyone to question their courage. The next day, the teacher gathered them in a quiet classroom, explaining their objective. The chairman's only son had vanished, likely kidnapped. They were to locate him, secure his safety, and eliminate the kidnappers to leave no loose ends. The last trace of the boy had been an AirPod signal at a nearby amusement park, a place bustling with crowds and distractions. The team headed there without delay. Yet, in a moment of rare calm, the dark memories of their upbringing loosened their grip. Instead of rushing to the mission, the group paused to savor the amusement park. The bright colors, the smell of sweet popcorn, the sounds of laughter that felt almost alien to them. Hyung and Jae climbed onto the merry-go-round, their faces lighting up like children who had never known joy. Afterward, they crashed bumper cars together, laughing until they were breathless. Lee Yuna and Pietro tested their skills at the shooting gallery, where the sly owner had weighed down the targets to cheat visitors out of prizes. Pietro saw through it instantly. Calmly he aimed, and bullet after bullet struck true. The biggest prizes were handed over to them, leaving the owner slack-jawed in disbelief. For the Daiko brothers, it was the first time they had ever experienced anything close to a normal day out. Pietro watched them silently, realizing with a pang that their childhoods had been every bit as broken as his own. Nothing but relentless training, scars, and drills until they forgot how to smile. Today those smiles seemed real, if only for a moment. That fragile moment was cut short when Lee Yuna's phone picked up a signal. The missing AirPods were transmitting from the women's restroom. She moved swiftly to check, scanning for anything out of place. A nervous woman carrying a bag seemed startled by Lee Yuna's intense questioning, which in turn drew the attention of a burly man nearby. "Who the hell are you bothering her?" he growled, stepping forward and pushing Lee Yuna aside. His shove was hard, but her reflexes were sharper. In a flash, she leapt onto his back, wrapped her arms around his neck, and held a sharpened lollipop stick against his throat, ready to kill. The man froze, stunned, and Lee Yuna realized she was acting on sheer instinct. She dropped back to the ground, releasing him before she went too far. On the other side of the park, Pietro noticed her absence. Just as he pulled out his phone to call her, Lee Yuna came running back, pale and out of breath. "I found the AirPods," she gasped, "near the haunted house." Pietro frowned. Something was off. The haunted house had been marked as fully booked all day, yet almost no one was going inside. He looked at Lee Yuna, and they both understood in unison. "It's the haunted house," Pietro confirmed. The group moved as one. The Daiko brothers tried to look brave, but their steps faltered with each grotesque decoration and jump scare. Pietro, however, kept scanning the building, on edge for real threats. As they crossed deeper inside, a strange smell began to rise. Then the smoke hit them, thick and sweet, sending their minds spinning. Pietro staggered, realizing at once. Knockout gas. He fought to keep consciousness but let himself drop. If this was a trap, getting captured might be the fastest way to find their target. In the distance, the killer instructor slammed a phone receiver over and over, trying to reach them. His face was ashen. Park Sang-doo's name alone made him sweat. That monster, once a promising disciple candidate, had been expelled because he refused to bow to the Glory Club's rules. His cruelty was so extreme it had cost the instructor his own leg. Park had built a secret lair where he kept kidnapped victims, turning the haunted house into a recruitment ground for fresh prey. When Pietro awoke, he was tied to a post. Liuna lay beside him, her mouth closed tightly, pretending to be unconscious to avoid detection. Park Sang-doo stalked the room, watching with a twisted grin. "You know," he said, "people who pass out from chloroform sleep with their mouths open. Yours is closed." Liuna's heart stopped as Park lunged toward her, but Pietro moved first, revealing he'd freed himself minutes ago. In seconds he cut Liuna loose. In the next room, the Dako brothers had already been offered Park's twisted wager: defeat him in a duel or leave their legs behind. They accepted immediately, determined to prove their worth. The battle was savage, their blades clashing with Park's. But in a horrifying moment, Park shattered their knives effortlessly, grinning like a shark among minnows. As Park raised his blade to take Dako Hyung's leg, Pietro stepped forward. "Wait," he called, cool and steady. "How about a better bet? Double or nothing. My arms, my legs, my head if I lose." Park's grin widened with delight. He tossed Pietro a blade, but Pietro picked up a battered metal tray instead. "This is enough," Pietro declared. Park couldn't help but laugh. "You're insane." The next instant, Park came swinging with a power that would have cut through concrete, but Pietro blocked with the tray, deflecting the savage blows. Sparks flew. Pietro's calm eyes never wavered, reading Park's attacks before they even came. Then Park threw off his coat, revealing a rippling mass of muscle and scars. The real fight began. Park came faster, his blade moving with terrifying precision, but Pietro countered each time, even managing to slip behind Park and leave a shallow cut across his neck. For the first time, Park looked rattled. "Are you really a student?" he demanded. Pietro only smiled, stepping closer. Park drew a hidden blade from within the curve of his larger knife, a thin stiletto designed for deadly speed. Pietro recognized it instantly, a weapon made to kill without mercy. Park's movements changed, faster, more vicious, but Pietro refused to flinch. Their battle reached a fever pitch, echoing through the empty haunted house. Sparks and flashes of steel lit up the dark corridor. Pietro's body moved with a predator's grace, reading every strike, countering with flawless precision. Suddenly, Park feinted and scored a shallow cut across Pietro's cheek, grinning with glee. Pietro ignored the pain, his eyes fixed like a hawk. At that moment, Liuna could only stand and watch, unable to intervene. Pietro was on a different level, an unstoppable force born from a lifetime of survival and death. Park lunged again, hoping to end it, but Pietro shifted, slammed the tray into Park's forearm and forced him off balance. In the same movement, Pietro struck at Park's throat, knocking him to the ground. Gasping for breath, Park realized he had misjudged this boy. This was no ordinary student but a living legend reborn. Pietro stepped forward, eyes cold as ice. "This is over," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, but carrying the weight of 1,000 kills. Park's grin vanished. Outside, sirens wailed as the killer instructor finally arrived, limping on his prosthetic, terrified that they were already too late. But the moment he opened the haunted house door, he saw Pietro standing tall, the brothers battered but alive, Liuna by his side, and Park Sang-doo broken on the floor. Pietro lowered the dented tray, stepping away. "Mission complete," he said, calm as ever, as if he'd just finished another routine assignment, and ready for the next. We all know how dangerous Pietro is. He is a third-rate assassin who can use anything as a weapon. Grabbing a dented tray, what killer ideas does Pietro have in this situation? Is it to gouge out the enemy's eyes or behead him? Let's find out in the next video. Like and subscribe to watch the next part to be continued.